Movie buff.
Due to an error with GoodRoots Games' microphone, most of her parts of this recording were clipped. We apologize for the issue and the cuts, but as Renix and Oscillator had so much fun with this recording that it would be a shame not to release it because of a single technical issue. Don't worry, our next tasty treat will be even better and contain more heartwarming content for your listening pleasure.
Okay, so hi everybody. For me, the best feel-good games, probably the ones that I actually enjoy playing. I know this kind of sounds cliche to say, but the ones that I feel like, for me, adventure RPGs would be like the best category for me, because adventure RPGs are games where I can get immersed into it. I can get lost in the world. I can get lost in the character and the story that they're trying to present to me, and I can try to escape real life for a couple of hours. And I think that's fantastic because I can just focus on the game. It makes me feel like whatever emotion the game is trying to tell me, that's the emotion that I'm gonna get pulled in. And I feel like for example, I recently finished Assassin's Creed Origins, and that game is, it has a really good story, I feel like, but the world is massive. But there was quite a few moments in there where I legitimately felt like I was in ancient Egypt for a second. Like just the way the birds are flying overhead is when you go to a marsh and the birds are flying out of the lake, and the alligators and the people walking by. It did such a great job with that I legitimately felt like at some points I could just imagine myself in Egypt. And I'm a huge traveler, and so I really enjoy those kind of games where I can kind of feel myself in another place. And so to me, those are like the best games where they transport me to another world and I can really immerse myself into that world.
That's a good question. I think it really depends. For me, it's usually something that I can play with friends. For me, I think a lot of the really feel-good moments come from kind of enjoying something with a friend. I know I was playing through a totally reliable delivery service with a buddy of mine not too long ago, and it's such a simple, silly game, or something like Overcooked, right? Where it's like there's really not like a huge amount going on there.
I love
But
that
just
game.
being in that like weird situation with a friend where just everything's going wrong, there's just chaos at all times. I feel like that can lead to a lot of really memorable moments. Or as Az was just saying, I was kind of thinking of he and I have been playing through some Sea of Thieves recently.
I was gonna say that next again.
Yeah,
Read my mind, Aussie.
There's not necessarily like a huge amount of story there, but it's just something where it leads to these weird moments that everything's just lining up, and it's just like hilarious. Or just very, very fun. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of the really memorable moments I've had in gaming haven't even necessarily come from the games themselves, but more so who I'm experiencing them with. And I mean, there's some that, the games themselves build these really, really memorable moments. I mean, I'm thinking of like God of War, or like Horizon Zero Dawn, where I walk out somewhere and there's just beautiful vista and everything's just like, wow. I'm looking at it, I'm like, holy hell, this looks like a real, like this could be a picture. Somebody could show me this and I would think it was real life. You know what I mean? There's definitely those moments, but I think for me, a lot of the real memorable moments are just silly things that aren't even really supposed to happen in the game. It's just strange stuff.
I've been playing Genshin Impact, and that game is all about waifus and husbandos and stuff like that. So I mean, realistically, you have a huge market for these kind of people where they're like, "Oh, this is my waifu." And I mean, I never thought I'd say those words out loud ever in my entire life, but now I'm saying those, and that feels weird. So I just want to put that out there.
As is there for that booty.
Yeah, exactly. But I do want to expand on one more point that Aussie said about the Sea of Thieves. When I just remember this really, really memorable moment. I don't think I'll ever forget this in my life. Me and him were going on a ship, and we got to this island, and we got the loot that we got. We got the loot we wanted, and we had to sail back to the outpost. And Aussie comes up with the idea, like, hey, why don't we just take the rowboat back to, sail this, the island and the outpost, they're miles away from each other. Let's take the rowboat instead of taking a ship. Let's row all the way back. Yeah, let's row all the way back. And so all I remember is him using this rowboat with a bunch of loot on it, and me playing the freaking banjo while we go back there. It was freaking hilarious, and that was the best memorable moment ever.
I hope you made him row. It's his idea.
Yeah, he definitely rowed. I was the captain, of course. I couldn't do the work.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
I'm
God.
the lowly swabby. I mean, I got to do the grunt work. It's fine.
And it was your suggestion to use a rowboat, so it's on you, man.
Yeah.
The funny thing was, we're going over these waves that are bigger than the entire rowboat, and like all I see is Aussie's.
In our boat.
Yeah, and Aussie's character just like going through the rowboat like it's no big deal, like he's just rowing like it's no big deal. I'm like, damn, dude, who needs a boat?
Just get on Aussie. Just have tie the loop to Aussie and just have him swim.
It's like those cartoons, where there's like the guy rowing and just like across the water. It's just borderline comical. Yeah.
Yeah, we just imagine that if there was another ship that came by, like what would they be thinking? Like are these guys these guys are too crazy? We don't want to mess with them. Yeah.
You don't mess with two guys in a rowboat.
Right.
Yep, pretty much.
That's the best ship
I really wish
ever.
I recorded that. Yeah, I really wish I had recorded that because that was honestly the best experience in Sea of Thieves ever.
It's a great question. I'm gonna come straight out and admit I'm really terrible at watching my clips because the sound of myself is just the worst to me.
So many people would disagree with you.
Who hates hearing their own voice. Don't worry, that's virtually everyone. Yeah, I don't know. I think for me, I went back and watched through a lot of the clips from Little Nightmares. Anybody who doesn't know, my fiance Shelby and I will do like couple streams every now and then, and we played through both Little Nightmares 1 and 2, and those clips to me were very entertaining. I think I really watched them for her reaction probably more than mine. And there's been a handful of other clips, and it's mostly just me doing I want to say just like shady shit. Like one of my favorite clips is anybody who knows my buddy Smig. He jumps into my streams every now and then. There's a clip from Fall Guys where we're pretty much like in the lead. We're like ahead of the pack, right? And I was like, we got time to cross the finish line. We're close enough. So I turned around, screamed, "Long live the king," and grabbed onto him to try to like throw him off a ledge. This is from when I very first started streaming. And turns out I held on a little too long. The entire pack passed us, and then neither one of us made it through the finish line. So,
wow.
Got him.
and then it's like maybe 30 seconds of us just yelling at each other about how, we've betrayed each other and we're terrible people. But
congratulations, you played yourself.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. So it's just like random stuff like that. It's those moments that are like spur of the moment. They're not really planned, but anybody who can capture stuff like that, I feel like that's the lightning in a bottle. You know what I mean? It's not something that you're like, oh, this is the thing that I've done 100 times before. I'm just going to do it again. That's not what people are going to clip. It's those little like spark moments where
yep
something off the cuff happens, and yeah, it can really be magic when they're there.
No, there's a lot of clips that I'm like, no. I'm like, no. Why was this clipped?
What is wrong with you?
Yeah, I'm like, no. Oh God, then you hear your own voice, like Aussie said. You're like, oh God. Like, so, especially some of my clips are like from way back, before I had a professional mic. I mean, I'm still pretty amateur, like I told these guys, but before I had a more professional mic, and it just feels like some of those clips are like some old version of you.
Burn it with fire.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm like, oh God, these are terrible clips. But yeah, I mean, there are some clips where you say something dumb on stream, or you just say something and your viewers like, oh, I'm clipping this, and you watch it back and you're like, yeah, that's pretty. Actually, just today, one of my viewers, Mason, he clipped the part because I was eating these dried mangoes. Okay, everyone knows in my community I have an addiction with dried mangoes, and I was saying I'm eating these dried mangoes, and as I'm eating them, I'm like, I have a problem with this. Like, I have a problem, and so they clipped that. And it was actually pretty funny. But yeah, so those moments where you can look back and you watch those clips, you're like, yeah, worth it, worth it for that clip.
I will say, I feel like 80% of the clips are going to happen when you just say something fucking heinous. Like,
yep.
If you just say something that you're like, I hope this is never repeated, that's what people are going to clip.
Yep, exactly. You can be like, I love you guys. Yeah, exactly. Like, I can say I love you guys like a billion times, you know what I mean? And the one time I say, yeah, man, I freaking hate you guys, boom, clipped.
Yeah.
Forever immortalized as somebody who hates it.
Yep.
Yep,
What about
I know
you,
that
Artie?
the one clip I have several clips of Aussie, and one of my favorites now is his shout out on my stream. And every time he's in my channel, he's like, "I hate you, Artie," and I'm
The
like, "Deal with
worst.
it, deal with it." And it's like one of my favorite things he's ever
Like, I gotta
said.
do this thing, and I just slide my slider down for my volume immediately.
Mute.
He's the
Yep.
only person thus far who has a video clip of himself for his shout out. It just because
The worst.
it was beautiful and it was so perfect. And
Now I have to see this. Now I have to see
have
this.
you not seen that you can lurk on me anytime? Have you not seen that?
Oh wait, no, that one. Yeah, yeah, okay.
Aussie's over here just like blushing. He's like, "Shut up, Artie. Shut up."
I just want to say real quick, even though Artie, and not to pick on you, Artie, here, but even if you're rating with one person or two people, I just want to say that is still very, very, very appreciated, because it still means you took the time to pick that particular person, and you say, hey, you know, I'm gonna go share this love and share my love to this, you know, to this channel, and boost up their, the viewer count, or like, show them more engagement, with more viewer engagement. And then people get to know you as you come into the raid. People get to know you, like, oh, hey, look, it's already rating you, and then it sparks up discussion. You know what I mean? So a raid of 1, a raid of 2, like, I never care about the numbers. A raid is a raid, and it's always very appreciative of anybody that raids. I guess any of us, we're all very appreciative of that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm giving the same intro whether you're raiding with 1 people or 50 people. To me, it's that somebody's however large your community is, or however many people you're raiding over with, they're kind of entrusting you with those people and choosing you to kind of like pass on that torch to, right? I've said this quite a few times on my stream. Like, I don't understand when people have 5, 10, 15 people, and at the end of their stream, rather than raiding, they just say, yeah, I don't really know anybody who's on, I'm gonna end my stream. Like, I've seen this quite a few times where I'll be in someone's stream and I'll go do something, I'll look for a little bit, come back, and their stream is just ended. And I always think to myself, like, why not just raid anybody? Like, even if it's somebody you don't know, you just roll the dice, just go find somebody with like a similar viewer count to you, similar kind of like amount of followers. Just get your name out there, because then these people might say, hey, let me check out this person, let me promote this person. It's just, there's no downside to kind of sharing the love, right?
I mean, I've been raided by people I had no idea who the heck they were, and that was really nice, because they were just raiding me because they're from the game.
Tonight, when I ended my stream, I raided somebody I've just never seen before in my entire life. I was like, you know what, I feel like doing something different. I looked at whatever game it was that I was playing, which happened to be Hades today, and I just raided some random dude because he had a giant beard and he had like a furry ass hat on, and I was like, this guy looks like a fucking champ. I'm gonna go raid him.
It's funny you bring that up, because I was raided by somebody for Stardew Valley, and he brought in like 30 some odd people, and I was shocked, because normally my Stardew Valley streams do not get that much attention. And he came in here and I was like, oh my god, raiders, thank you so much. I get Marbles on Stream rando raiders, because Marbles on Stream tends to all raid with each other so they can keep playing. And I tend to do the same thing. I raid Marbles, Marbles people as well whenever I'm doing Marbles. But Stardew Valley doesn't really happen. And I said, well, great. If I can ask, how did you know who I am? Because I've never heard of you, and I kind of want to go check you out now and talk about Stardew Valley and stuff. And apparently, he had been looking for people to raid at the end of his stream, and he was sitting there looking and clicking, and he's like, talk, talk, talk. And he's like, nobody's talking about the game. Like, he's getting frustrated with it. And then he comes on mine, and I just happen to be having pajama party day, and I have flannel pajamas, and it turns out flannel's kind of one of his favorite things. So he raided me because I was wearing flannel, and it was just like, that is the weirdest reason. So I actually went back and watched the VOD, see what his thought process was, and it was really interesting to watch him go through and be like, I want to find somebody to raid who actually talks to their viewers, and he happened to land on me. And it just felt like, wow, you're raiding me and you don't even know me, and that's really nice of you. So thank you for that.
I mean, on days that I'm raiding somebody that I don't know, that's generally what I'm doing. I'm looking for somebody. So most of that, and I don't want to say you need a camera to like be successful on Twitch, but I'm usually looking for somebody with a camera. I'm like, okay, this looks like a clear camera. It looks like it's not, a tiny square on the bottom of the screen that's got no resolution. Let me click on that. Let me see what they're doing. And then if it's somebody who's just sitting there and going, staring at the screen, not doing anything for 15 seconds, I'm like, maybe this isn't the person I want to raid. Right? So I'll definitely click through try to find somebody that I think I would find entertaining to watch. Because again, like if I'm going to pass my community over to somebody, especially somebody that I don't know, I want it to at least be somebody who's engaging that might be entertaining to them, you know?
Always appreciated, regardless of the viewer count or number count. Always appreciated.
Yep, 100%.
If I could put a smile on at least one person's face, I consider that a good day.
Yeah, for sure.